Hello, sport fans. Mauricio here. Well, now it's time to fetch some data into each grid view, into each view. Um, Again, this is a tabbed interface, and I am not your professor for teaching you aesthetics of web development. Besides, I believe you just buy a template anyway. But so I'm gonna spend all our time on functionality, not aesthetics. That's a different class. All right. So um, first thing we're gonna do is imports system.data. So we have to use um, we have to gain access to some ADO.NET objects, and a few of them are generic .data, and a few of them are SQL based, so we're connecting to SQL. And I'm going to bring in a connection string. I want you to look at that. And let's talk about all this. All right, so this is our web page. Please do not change the name. And you can't delete this partial class, and you can't delete this end class. Similarly, a procedure inside ASP.NET is this sub end sub close sandwich. You can't delete the one piece of bread at the bottom there. You see it gets upset. So Control Z does work. So it's a class file, and so we'll just leave that alone. And so we put in, and by the way, you type this once and you never worry about it again. But this connection string, it knows what database we're connecting to. So it, similar in SSMS, you have to tell it use this database. So what database should I run my code against? Same thing here. What database should I run my code against? Okay, here's the server. Here's the database. So initial catalog is a database. The rest of this SSPI allows it to pass in your credentials that were created at WSU. There's other connection strings you can do there, but you have to go ahead and put that in. And then I want to show a region, so # region. I don't call it a hashtag. Usually when you hit enter, it let's see what it does. Navigation. All right, now I put in the end region. So take the end region and put it at the end of all these links. So what we want to do is collapse those links. So you'll have many I guess a folder here that you could drop down into, and that helps greatly. Also, I plead with you, if you're going to get support from Featherman, when you're talking to me, please don't scroll up and down. It makes me a little dizzy. So if you use regions and then just say, let's talk about this code, then you don't need to scroll up and down so much. All right, so we're going to put a grid view on each view here. So a grid view is in this data. So we'll just drag them up here. So there's one, auto format, classic rock. Pick the one you like. Number 2, so I'm just going to do this 6 times. So I didn't put a grid view for sales entry. I haven't really thought that one through yet. But we're gonna name these grid views. So a grid view is a tabular looking object. It's a container. It'll hold the data table. So yeah, let me back up for a second. So we're going to use our connection string. We're going to run a stored procedure over the connection to the database, as long as you're logged in correctly. And we're going to go run a stored procedure that fetches, runs a select statement, and fetches the data into an array. So we're going to have to make some arrays here. So we're going to fetch data into maybe 4 arrays: products, customers, categories, and maybe something about, yes, maybe the sales line items, or maybe we should do the sales summary table. So we'll just show this process, and yeah, and then when we turn the thing on, we want those to be filled. We want those grid views to be filled. So the point I was trying to make is you retrieve the data from the database into an array into your web page. The array in the web page is called the data table. The grid views you see on the screen display the data in the data table. So I'm going to go back and name these. So I'm very careful about naming things. I really encourage you to do the same thing. So GV, grid view products. In your code, you refer to it as GV products. So there's no grid view 1 anymore. So in the code, that's GV products in the code that we're going to write. So by the way, the code that you see me write only works if you use the exact same control names so as I use. So I'm going to fill a data table and then display that data in GV products. If your grid view is called grid view 1, then it won't work. So please change your control names to exact same thing I have. I don't think it's case sensitive, but I would just type whatever names I use, and let me just use this little trick again. So grid view 3 looks like it's for customers, and GV4 is something about sales. I haven't really thought it through, but properties, GV sales, and we'll probably have a separate, that'll be the line items. All right. Now I'm not going to use the stored procedures in this video. We're going to use another way. I don't have a stored procedure that just says select star from products, select star from customers. So I'm going to show you another way, ASP.NET way. We're going to get the data and we're going to put it in data tables. So by the way, public shared means you can access the object in any procedure on the page. So GD global data table, customers, GDT, categories. I just kind of changed the order, but it doesn't really matter. Let's see, as new data table. All right. By the way, if you forget that word new, it's very hard to figure out what the error code is telling you. All right, so what we need to do is load these data tables. So go ahead and look for the lightning bolt and click that, and in this middle drop-down list, and on the right here, select INIT. We will never use page load. So I would get rid of that. So it put it inside my region. No, thank you. So, and we don't really, I'll put those down there. We don't really need those. So, all right, so this is a procedure. You do single quote for the comments. So retrieve data into data table arrays and display in grid views. All right, so INIT is a procedure that runs when you turn the computer on. So that's pretty useful to fill these data table arrays and display the data. All right, so what we're going to do is use this DataAdapter object. So we're creating a new instance of this. So Microsoft made this SQL DataAdapter object, and I'm going to create an instance of it, DataAdapter get products. But I need to get the name of my table, which I can't see. So here's a nice trick. In the Server Explorer, if you hit this connect to database, then you can connect. And since it's using this Windows authentication, when you click this button here, it knows you. So find your database on the list, and then just hit OK. And then now we have a live and direct connection to our tables. There we go. There's the Cook Hotel and the FA25 products. So now I know my name of my table. Whoops. So let's pin that. And the last time I checked, you still can't drag and drop. So I don't know why. And you may not need to put this Featherman dot or DBO dot. I guess I'll try it without it. So FA. Now you use the name of your table. I'll use the name of my table. So you can't blindly type when I'm typing. You have to type the name of your objects or tables, or else you have to change your names. All right, so we're going to need 4 of these, one for each table. So copy, paste, paste, paste. So get products, it'll be get categories. So I filled them in, and if it doesn't work, I'll go ahead and put in something like this, but we'll see. So you might need this DBO dot, you might not. So we'll have to play with that. But now we have the 4 data adapters. So this data adapter now can run this select statement over this connection. So we have our data adapters, and it has this very nice method .fill. So the products is going to fill the data table array called products. So this is when you slow down to get this right. So we're filling 4 arrays. So we fill the data table, and then each of our grid views is connected to that data table as its data source. So this IntelliSense is pretty nice. The last step is this data bind. So the grid view gets its data source, and then you do a data bind, all 4 of them, and you have to be very careful to connect the right one to the right grid view. Then we should just run it and see what happens. All right, if there's no typos, then it should retrieve the data. Now, I'm not saying this is a good design yet, but we just connected to our database and retrieved a whole bunch of data. So go ahead and do that. using this shortcut way of doing it. No stored procedures yet. We'll see you next